No, wait! Stop!
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. Well, I'd like to think it all started 358 over 2 days ago.
In 2009, Square Enix would release a side game within the Kingdom Hearts series called 358 over 2. The original game was released on the Nintendo DS and served as a bridge between the events of Chain of Memories to Kingdom Hearts 2. Which is weird considering that every other game was on the PS2, unless you're counting the original COM on GBA, but anyways, the later 1.5 and 2.5 collections would not feature the original game on the re-release and opted to animate the major story events in a cutscene form. A blessing in disguise if you ask me, since the DS game is a slog to go through. So for the purposes of this video, I'll be using the re-release's cutscenes for the story bits, and the original DS for the rest of the game. Hey, my name is Jude, and if you never wonder who else your ice cream with Xion, then I'm here to tell you what is Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. Gosh, that title sucks. So let's get that story out of the way, shall we? The game begins with the newest member of Organization 13, that being Roxas, who is tasked with his new friend Axel to go into the worlds and defeat the Heartless to collect more hearts for Kingdom Hearts. During his missions, he is partnered with and befriends another new member named Xion, the mysterious 14th member of the organization, who bears a striking resemblance to Kairi that isn't important at all. And she learns how to use the Keyblade just like Roxas. Thus, he, Axel, and Xion become good friends, eat ice cream together, kill some Heartless, eat more ice cream, beat up some more Heartless, make the company quota, day after day after day. Alrighty, so Days' story tends to get repetitive, and it's best experienced if you already played Chain of Memories and KH2, since it further explores how characters like Roxas and Axel became friends, and where the 13th member eventually ended up at the beginning of 2. It also does a good job of showing Roxas' character development throughout the game. He goes from a mindless zombie who only does what others tell of him, to a being showing emotion that just wants some answers as to who he is and where he came from, especially since he's being kept in the dark as to who he is. You also have the subplot between members Axel and Sax to follow along with, which further explains his actions during the events of Chain of Memories too. Not only that, but there's the mystery of the 14th member, Xion. This raven-haired girl shakes up the narrative in that she is not referenced, seen, nor mentioned anywhere in Kingdom Hearts 2, leading to a fascinating mystery to follow along as to who she is and why she's not mentioned anywhere else in the second game. That being said, Days is one of the more sadder entries in the series, so it'll only hurt more once you know how things turn out for the Seesaw Trio. Aside from that though, the rest of the organization is pretty one-note. We learn next to nothing about the other members here, and half of the roster is sent out to Castle Oblivion very early on. And if you played COM already, you already know what happens to them. The only other noteworthy members in the story are Sayax and Xigbar. I already spoke briefly about Sayax, since around Roxas and Xion, he acts like one of those toxic managers, but Xigbar has some decent interactions with the two, especially near the end of the game when he confronts Xion, which is definitely not foreshadowing to a future PSP game. Though I feel I should mention this, the HD collection is often called a movie, but it really isn't. The quote-unquote movie is missing some context from several scenes of the original game and acts more like you're watching the cutscenes on YouTube than an actual film, especially since there are a handful of text-only scenes that go over some parts of the game for you. Despite this, if you're looking for a KH game that elaborates more on the members like Roxas and Axel, look no further. Just don't expect to learn more about the other members though. Alright, so story's neat, yada yada yada, gameplay time. You'll be playing as Roxas throughout the story mode, who will need to level up and defeat Heartless over the course of 358 days. Heh, get it? Though several days and weeks are not playable, since the game loves to fast forward many times over, making only 93 of them fully playable. The game is mission focused, with you clearing a certain objective to clear the level, in which most of them involve you defeating Heartless to make the company quota. And if that sounds boring and monotonous to you, that's because it is boring and monotonous. You'll be playing through the same missions in the same worlds over and over again for nearly 20 hours. Yippee! Let's start with the basics on what Roxas can do, why don't we? Unlike previous Kingdom Hearts games, Roxas only has 3 command prompts throughout his adventure. those being attack, magic, and items, which are all self-explanatory. Attack swings your Keyblade, magic casts spells, and items heal and whatnot. And once you start completing missions, you'll earn several items to boost your performance, such as blocking, and one of the best abilities, the Air Slide. This panel is awarded after completing Mission 23 and acts as an air dash, which can be linked with more Air Slide panels, letting you zoom across the map up to 4 times or more. And of course, there's level ups. Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, so the most well-known thing about Days is that, unlike previous Kingdom Hearts games, you don't just get to keep those level stat boosts you get. You have to manually equip the level ups to boost your character, because nobody don't know how to level up, except when they do. And you have a limited amount of slots to choose from to give to your character, so good luck trying to find a space for these things. Granted, you will earn more item slots once you purchase slot unlockers via the Moogle Shop, along with level multipliers. These allow you to stack multiple levels into one, so you can climb levels much faster than just stacking them all at once. And you'll unlock these naturally once you speak to Syx on day 52. There are 3 ranks of level multipliers: double, triple, and quadruple, which is the best one. You can also equip stuff like potions, ethers, magic spells, and several keyblades to boost. Wow, that sounds really fun to play in a Kingdom Hearts game, huh, Xion?
Are you kidding me? I have to stack my level ups on top of my potions and spells? If I wanted to go block stacking, I'd be out playing Tetris.
Anyways, much like Sora, Roxas can equip several Keyblades to better fight off the Heartless, many of which will change his moveset, which is a good thing too, since he does the same gosh darn 2 hits for the entire game. There are Keyblades that are good at physical attacks, magic, as well as range boosts. Keyblades are categorized as gears in this one. Not that kind of gear. And you can link different panels to certain ones to boost your combat prowess, which are all color-coded to help differentiate them from one another. Power increases strength, magic for magic, guard boosts defense, and sight raises crit potential. There's Keyblades like the Glimpse of Darkness, which focuses on ground combos, the Leviathan, which gives you a backflip and a strong horizontal slash. But, surprise surprise, the best Keyblade in the game is, actually it's debatable. While the Ultra Weapon isn't in this one, since it's an ability panel only, there are a handful of weapons that are worth using to get you through the missions. Like the Pandora's Gear, since it has up to 4 link panels to upgrade, and a powerful moveset to boot. But if things aren't looking so good during missions, you have your trump card in the form of the Limit Break. This can be activated once your health reaches the yellow mark, and holding down the attack button will leash a devastating barrage of attacks to turn the tide in your favor. Though it will decrease the more times you use it, so be warned. Alright, I guess I should talk about the magics now, huh? Certainly they're alright. You've got the standard spells like Fire, Blizzard, Thunder, and Cure. But the higher tier spells are a bit more unique in this one. For example, Thundara zaps foes at random, but covers enough of a distance to wipe out several Heartless at once. While Iroga acts as an AoE spell that deals a decent amount of damage, which reminds me a bit of its glory days from KH1. Aside from that, the only other noteworthy spell is Cure. The base spell is the exact same as previous entries. Cura, on the other hand, heals the player over time, while the Kiraga spell is an AoE healing effect. And you can equip multiple panelings to boost how many times you can cast your spells too. Am I done yet? Can I move on, Xion?
Not yet. You still have to bring up the status effects, Judy Booty.
Don't ever call me that again. Anyways, in Days, you can cause status ailments to enemies, and it works about as good as you expect. Fire is hot, Blizzard freezes, and lightning zaps. Some of the status ailments that can affect the player include Ignite, which means fire is indeed hot, Air Toss, which spins you like a ballerina, Line prevents you from hitting foes for a while, and Silence keeps you from casting spells for a good bit. Am I done yet? Cool, moving on. Next, let's talk about the missions within the game. As previously stated, there are 93 playable days to complete. Each mission has 2 goals, the normal goal, which is your primary objective, and a trial goal, which rewards you with more bonuses at the end of the mission. Your objective will vary from day to day. Some missions have you defeat all the enemies, others have you collecting badges, yay, and some of them will have you progress by interacting with the environment via these green square icons in the game, along with the occasional pop the purple pimple ones too. Ew. There's also a handful of stealth missions too, which are hilariously easy, since if you get caught, you just start back at the starting area and try again. And oh well, that's literally it. Dang, it was that easy, huh?
Can't be that easy. It's that easy.
One other thing to note is that, while progressing through the story, you'll be promoted to higher tier ranks in the organization, which lets you go through more missions in the mission mode, but we'll get to that later. For now, all you need to know is that you can buy new items in the Moogle shop depending upon your ranking, of which there are 6 in total. Novice is awarded on day 26, Rookie on day 117, Agent on day 172, Expert on day 225, Master on 296, and the final rank of Legend is awarded after beating the game. The first 6 missions are all tutorial based, which explains the game's mechanics, along with introducing your secondary teammates too. Most missions will have Roxas tag along with a co-worker from the organization, and what they do is up to the RNG gods above. Sometimes they'll clear runes of Heartless for you, other times they'll just do a whole lot of nothing. Though they can inflict status ailments and land limits, you know, when they feel like it. Aside from that though, they are not worth counting on at all. Anyways, one of the worst missions in the game has to be Mission 81, in which you need to eliminate the Flying Heartless, and here's the best part, it flies around in a maze, forcing you to wait for the dark thing to come back and whack it till it's dead. And this takes forever. But if you don't want to deal with boring missions like that one, and I don't blame you, there's a lot of them in this game, you have the option to progress to the next major event if you meet the company quota. All of which have you venture off to various worlds from previous games. Your hub area this time around is the world that never was, which is really just a single room where you can buy and craft materials from the Moogle shop, save your game, and customize your panels. Then there's Twilight Town, which Roxas visits the most out of any world, especially since he's on that sea salt ice cream kick. Agrabah lets you explore the city and the Cave of Wonders, Olympus holds tournaments, Halloween Town has Roxas getting jumped by Lock, Shock, and Barrel, a lot now that I think about it. Wonderland sucks, and Neverland gives you the glide ability, while exploring Hook's ship and several small islands too. And of course, Beast's Castle has to team up with Zaldan and Xion. However, what it's most infamous for is in Mission 31, in which Roxas decides to hand over his Keyblade to Xion and has to rely on the Grace weapon to ever grace your screens. Because he's got this.
Roxas, that's a stick.
But what good would a KH game be without a handful of memorable bosses? For all the wrong reasons, I might add. Days features a ton of recycled bosses from the previous games, and the small handful of new bosses range from neat to the hottest of garbages. Such as the Antlion Heartless found in Agrabah on Mission 32, which had you chase the giant bug across the desert to whack it till it dead. I feel like it's rough course and gets everywhere, but I don't know why. Anyways, the Infernal Engine is this goofy looking box thing fought on Mission 50, where you have to dodge his puke bombs, this hammer thing, watch out for the archers atop said thing, and he'll bring out his battering ram, which leaves him extremely vulnerable while charging. And this can be just as easily avoided as tax evasion. But the most famous boss of all has to be the Leech Crave, which is one of the worst bosses in the entire series. This thing nullifies magic, somehow, and has an absurd amount of health to boot. So you'll need to whack the tentacles, which also have an absurd amount of health too, to deal damage to the main body. Oh, and you're being poisoned the whole time. Thanks game, I hate you too. Which makes this fight take a very, very long time to complete. Speaking of long and boring battle is long and boring. Thanks to the ruler of the sky within the Neverland world in Mission 78, where you have to chase this thing across the map to deal one hit before it flies away again, and rinse and repeat. And since you can't block in midair, you will inevitably get hit by his ramming attacks a la janky hitboxes. By the way, this boss lasts for almost 10 minutes. What in the world, game? However, the worst boss goes to an optional encounter against the Dust Flyer in Mission 89. This mission involves you defeating 6 giant Heartless. However, if you want 100% complete it, you will need to fight the secret 7th boss, that being the Dust Flyer. A boss that, once again, has an insane amount of health and can nearly one-tap you from a single hit by butt stomping a la Mario, requiring you to glide away from his AoE attacks and whack the tail for nearly 10 minutes. Am I having fun yet, Xion?
Take 5, Jude. I'll handle this one. Now, the only other noteworthy fight is the boss rush against the 14th member of the organization, that being, me. Xion is fought at the end of the game and features 4 forms to take on. She, that being me, has several of these forms being callbacks to Sora's moveset. Like in Phase 1, with a variant of Sonic Blade, Phase 2 has Ragnarok, and a cool-looking sight to boot. Phase 3 is reminiscent of the Kurtz boss from Kingdom Hearts 1 and features a move similar to Ars Arcanum that can mess you up very quickly. But the most famous form comes from the final fight, in which Xion, that being me, makes my monster grow a la Power Rangers and towers above the clock tower, while dodging wide slashes, lightning bolts, beams of light, and the most powerful move being her Desperation move, in which the whole arena is caught in the Hammer of Dawn, which is also a callback to Sora's Trinity Limit move. Given all the callbacks to Sora's limits and the many unique phases and worlds you fight in, I would have to say this is easily the best boss in the game. Alright, break time's over, Jude. Back to work.
Wait, who was I talking to again?
I'm afraid I have absolutely no idea what you mean, Jude, but I think it's time you go over the multiplayer.
Whatever you say, Lucina. Anyways, yes, you heard her right. This game does indeed have multiplayer. I'm just as amazed as you are. This extra mode is accessible at any time to the player via the mission mode in the main menu. But as you progress through the main game, you can unlock even more missions to play. And once you complete the mission, you have a set amount of time to return to the starting point before the mission ends. Which means absolutely nothing when you think about it. Oh, and before I forget, yes, you can play with up to 3 friends locally, and this is where I would show footage of my friends playing local days multiplayer, if I had one! Anywho, completing these missions will reward you with mission crowns, which will let you buy new items in the Moogle shop depending upon your ranking. There are 20 playable characters within mission mode, but you'll start with the 13 members of the organization. By the way, remember how I mentioned those ranks earlier in the video? Well, not only do you get new items in the Moogle shop, but you unlock new characters in the mission mode too. Xion is unlocked at rank Rookie, Riku at Agent, Donald Duck for Expert, and Goofy at Master rank. However, the last 2 secret characters are Mickey and Sora, who will need to be unlocked after purchasing the King's Return and Sora's Awakening items in the Moogle shop. The mouse costs a total of 1,000 heart points to buy, but Sora is a nightmare to unlock, requiring not just over 2,000 heart points, but clearing all 93 missions in full, find all treasure chests, and every single badge item in the entire game.
Man, this is borderline 100% completion territory, isn't it, Jude? Hey, wait a second. You said there were 20, but I only see 19. What's up with that?
Well, you see, person whose name I forgot, after earning the legend rank and buying it for over 3k heart points, you unlock the Zero Gear, which grants the organization their traditional weapons, and when Roxas equips it in mission mode, he'll dual wield both Oathkeeper and Oblivion from the final day in the game, who goes on a murderous rampage to take down the organization, but runs into Riku and fights him instead. And if you play Kingdom Hearts 2, you know where this fight goes. Which, by the way, Roxas is nearly OP with this thing equipped. With his fast-hitting combos, powerful limit break, and Hooded Roxas is a power trip that annihilates foes with the power of...
Dual wield!
Don't hit the camera, man.
Shut up!
Okay, so let's go over some tips and fun facts about the game, shall we? There are a handful of characters who don't make it into the official release of the game, including Hades and Megara of Olympus, along with Tinkerbell sprites, since she never speaks in the game. But the most interesting one goes to Pinocchio, Geppetto, Honest John, and Gideon of the Scrap Pinocchio world, due to storage restrictions of the DS handheld. Check the Moogle shop very often. It tends to update a lot as you progress through the game. Many of the missions can be quite difficult to 100% complete on your first go-round, so don't try too hard to do everything right away. You should also talk to the various organization members in the lobby, many of whom will give you various items and missions that can earn you some extra items too. During certain missions, the game will flash back to Sora as he fights with the world that Roxas visits, like when he fights the guard armor in Olympus. And as far as other differences go, the HD collection changes several events from the DS game. For example, in day 356, Roxas confronts Saïx on his way out in the form of a boss fight, but this entire encounter was cut from the collection's cutscenes. Speaking of Saïx, if you fight him or Riku in mission mode, you'll instead fight stronger versions of them called Anti-Saïx and Anti-Riku. By the way, in the HD collection, you need to watch all of the Days movie if you want to unlock extra Keyblades for the Chain of Memories game. And I know I said that last time in Chain of Memories what is, but trust me, a lot of people still don't know you have to do this. Especially Xion, who has been wandering aimlessly in Castle Oblivion for a while now. I wonder if she ever found that computer room.
Finally! After all my searching in this blasted castle, I found the computer room. Now I'll finally find out the secrets of who I am. maybe even Axel's search history, and... I feel like I should be getting angry at this, but I'm a nobody. We don't have hearts, except for when we do.
So hopefully this video has given you a good idea as to what this game is and how it plays. If you wish to purchase this game, don't bother, because the only substantial part, that being the story, was the only thing ported over to the 1.5 and 2.5 collections. And the original game is still lost on the Nintendo DS, though it is backwards compatible on the 3DS system. There is another quote-unquote alternative method to play it. Shout out to the folks behind the Mellow Mix who managed to fix the issue having two screens by adding the mini-map to the top right corner. And it runs so well on the Mellow Mix that it's practically a remaster if you ask me. Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days, while it may feature some of the most repetitive and monotonous gameplay in the series, is still worth experiencing due to the tragedy of the Sea Salt Trio. And once again, it is absolutely necessary to play in order to know where these characters end up in future installments in the series. So my recommendation is to watch the cutscenes in the HD collection first, and then play the original DS game if you're that curious. Another special shout out to Isabelle and Ponen for providing the voice of Xion for this video. Subscribe to her channel for more voiceovers like this one. Take it away, number 14.
Hello, my fellow nobodies. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Jude Knight for more What Is videos like this one. Have a blessed day, and thanks for having me on this channel again, friend. Take care!